The holographic display flickered in the dimly lit laboratory as Dr. Naomi Flynn studied the mysterious patterns dancing before her eyes. The artifact sat on her desk, its surface gleaming with an otherworldly iridescence that seemed to defy the laws of physics. She had discovered it buried deep within the caves of Europa, Jupiter's ice-covered moon, during what was supposed to be a routine geological survey. "This can't be right," she muttered, adjusting her scanning equipment for the 100th time. The readings showed energy signatures unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. The artifact, roughly the size of a basketball, appeared to be generating quantum fluctuations that shouldn't be possible in our universe. Behind her, Dr. Thomas Reed, her research partner, paced nervously. "The Oversight Committee will be here in less than an hour. Naomi, we need something concrete to show them, or they'll shut down the project." Naomi barely heard him, her attention fixed on a new pattern emerging in the data. The artifact's energy signature was changing, responding to their presence in ways that suggested it wasn't just a relic, it was active technology. "Tom, look at this," she called out, her voice trembling with excitement. "The quantum field it's generating. It's not random. It's a blueprint." A holographic display suddenly expanded, filling the room with intricate schematics. Naomi's eyes widened as she recognized what she was seeing: designs for a propulsion system that could bend the fabric of space-time itself. The laboratory door hissed open, and Director Julian Winters strode in, followed by a team of security personnel. "Dr. Flynn, Dr. Reed, I trust you have something significant to report." Naomi turned to face them, her heart racing. "Director, what we found. It's going to change everything. This artifact isn't just a piece of alien technology. It's instructions for building something unprecedented. A starship capable of manipulating quantum fields to achieve faster-than-light travel." The director's expression remained neutral, but his eyes betrayed his interest. "Explain." For the next 20 minutes, Naomi walked them through her findings, explaining how the artifact contained encoded information about advanced propulsion systems, energy manipulation, and gravity control. The technology was centuries beyond anything humanity had achieved. "The implications are staggering," she concluded. "With this technology, we could reach the nearest stars in days instead of centuries. We could establish colonies across the galaxy, explore regions of space we've only dreamed about." Director Winters studied the holographic schematics silently. Finally, he spoke. "Dr. Flynn, effective immediately, this project is classified at the highest level. We're moving the artifact and all related research to Facility Omega. You and Dr. Reed will continue your work there under maximum security." As the security team began securing the laboratory, Naomi noticed something strange. The artifact's glow had intensified, and new patterns were forming in its surface. She stepped closer, drawn by an inexplicable urge to touch it. "Dr. Flynn, step back." Director Winters shouted, but it was too late. Her fingers brushed the artifact's surface, and suddenly the room erupted in brilliant light. When it faded, the holographic display had changed. It now showed something that made everyone in the room gasp: a complete blueprint for a revolutionary starship, unlike anything humanity had ever conceived. The artifact had chosen to reveal its secrets, but as Naomi studied the new data, she realized this was just the beginning. The technology they'd discovered wasn't just about exploration. It was about survival. Embedded in the data were warnings, glimpses of threats lurking in the dark spaces between stars. As she looked at her colleagues' stunned faces, Naomi knew their world had changed forever. Humanity had just been handed the keys to the cosmos, but with them came a responsibility none of them were prepared for. The race to build humanity's first quantum starship had begun, and time was not on their side. Commander Marcus Rivera stood at the observation deck of Facility Omega, watching as teams of engineers worked tirelessly on the massive starship taking shape before him. 6 months had passed since Dr. Flynn's discovery, and humanity's first quantum vessel was nearly complete. The ship's hull gleamed with an otherworldly sheen, its surface embedded with crystalline matrices that would harness the quantum fields necessary for faster-than-light travel. "Commander, we have a situation." Lieutenant Rachel Wong's voice crackled through his comm unit. "Our deep space sensors just detected multiple unauthorized vessels approaching Jupiter's orbit." Marcus's jaw tightened. They'd known this day might come. "How many?" "3 ships, sir. Configuration unknown. They're not matching any known human designs." The commander turned away from the viewport, his mind racing. They weren't ready yet. The quantum drive was still undergoing final calibrations, and the defensive systems were barely online. "Alert Director Winters. Initiate Security Protocol Delta 9, and get Dr. Flynn up here immediately." As he strode toward the command center, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than a coincidence. Someone, or something, had learned about their project, and now they were coming to claim it. The command center was a flurry of activity when he arrived. Dr. Flynn was already there, her face pale as she studied the sensor readings. "These ships," she said without looking up, "they're using technology similar to what we found in the artifact." "Hostile?" Marcus asked, though he already knew the answer. "Their weapons are powered up, and they're on an intercept course," Lieutenant Wong confirmed. "We're picking up energy signatures unlike anything in our database." Director Winters joined them, his usually composed demeanor showing cracks of concern. "Commander Rivera, what are our options?" Marcus studied the tactical display. The facility's defenses were substantial, but they weren't designed to repel advanced alien technology. Their only real advantage was the prototype ship itself, if they could get it operational in time. "Dr. Flynn, how close are we to initializing the quantum drive?" Naomi ran her fingers through her hair, a habit Marcus had noticed she displayed when under pressure. "We could bring it online, but without proper testing, the risks are greater than the risk of letting those ships reach us." Marcus interrupted. "We need options, Doctor. Now." She nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. "Give me 30 minutes. I'll need Dr. Reed's help, and we'll have to bypass several safety protocols, but we might be able to power up the primary systems." "You have 15, Marcus replied, turning to address the command staff. "Lieutenant Wong, coordinate with station security. I want every defensive measure we have ready to buy us time. Director Winters, I suggest we begin evacuating non-essential personnel." The next 15 minutes passed in a blur of activity. Marcus watched as the unknown vessels drew closer, their intentions becoming clearer with each passing moment. They were methodically disabling the facility's outer sensor arrays, cutting off their eyes and ears to the outside world. Just as the first impacts rattled the station, Dr. Flynn's voice came through the comm. "Commander, we've done it. Basic systems are online, including quantum shielding and primary weapons. But there's something else you need to see." Marcus rushed to the ship's main hangar, where he found Naomi and Dr. Reed standing before the opened main hatch. The ship's interior was humming with power, its corridors lit by the same ethereal glow they'd first seen in the artifact. "The ship," Naomi explained, her eyes wide with wonder and fear, "it's not just responding to our commands. It's adapting, evolving. The quantum field is creating configurations we never programmed. It's as if it knows what's coming." Marcus finished. Another explosion rocked the facility, closer this time. "Well then, let's not keep our visitors waiting. How many people do you need to crew this thing?" "Just us," Dr. Reed interjected. "The ship's systems are largely automated, and we're the only ones who understand how to interface with the quantum technology." Marcus nodded. "Director Winters, do you copy? We're taking the ship out. Have all personnel fall back to the emergency bunkers. Whatever happens next, we can't let them take this technology." As they rushed aboard, Marcus couldn't help but feel they were crossing a threshold from which there would be no return. Humanity's first quantum ship was about to face its trial by fire, and the fate of their species might well depend on what happened in the next few hours. Fleet Admiral Diana Blackwood received the emergency transmission from Facility Omega, while her fleet was conducting exercises near Mars. The message was brief but clear. Unknown hostile vessels had engaged the research station, and humanity's most advanced Starship had been forced to launch prematurely. "Signal the fleet to move to battle stations," she ordered, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "Plot an intercept course to Jupiter. Maximum speed." Her flagship, the TNS Resolute, led the formation of Earth's most advanced warships through the solar system. But even as they pushed their engines to their limits, Diana knew they might be too late. Whatever Commander Rivera and his team had encountered was far beyond their current technological capabilities. "Admiral," her tactical officer, Lieutenant James Harrison, called out, "We're picking up quantum distortions ahead. Massive ones. Nothing like we've ever seen before." The main view screen showed a spectacular sight. 3 sleek, alien vessels pursuing what could only be the prototype quantum ship. Energy weapons crisscrossed the space between them, most deflecting off sophisticated shield systems that shouldn't even exist yet. "Get me a channel to Commander Rivera," Diana demanded, watching as the prototype performed maneuvers that defied conventional physics. The quantum technology they'd discovered was clearly more remarkable than anyone had imagined. "Channel open," Harrison confirmed. "Commander Rivera, this is Admiral Blackwood. We're moving to support your position. What's your status?" Marcus's voice came through, punctuated by static and the sounds of combat. "Admiral, the ship, it's incredible. We're barely scratching the surface of what it can do. But these attackers, they're calling themselves the Hylia Syndicate. They're human. Admiral, from the future." Diana felt her blood run cold. "Explain." "The artifact," Dr. Flynn's voice cut in. "It wasn't just alien technology. It was sent back in time. By us. By humanity. As a warning. The Syndicate, they're a faction that breaks away from Earth in the future. They've come back to steal this technology before we can use it to stop them." Another explosion rocked the prototype ship, and Diana watched as it dove through an impossible curve in space, its quantum field bending reality around it. The pursuing vessels were relentless, their weapons becoming more aggressive with each passing moment. "All ships, battle formation Delta," Diana commanded. "Target the hostile vessels, but do not, I repeat, do not hit that prototype. Everything depends on keeping it safe." As her fleet engaged the Syndicate ships, Diana began to understand the true scope of what they were facing. The enemy vessels were toying with them, their advanced weapons and shields making Earth's most powerful warships look like children's toys. "Admiral," Dr. Flynn's voice was urgent now. "We've decoded more of the artifact's data. The quantum drive. It's not just for propulsion. If we can amplify its field enough, we might be able to create a temporal barrier, trap them between time streams. The power requirements would be enormous," Dr. Reed added. "We'd need every ship in the fleet to channel their energy into the prototype." Diana didn't hesitate. "All ships, form up around the prototype. Channel all power to your forward arrays. Commander Rivera, whatever you're planning, do it fast. We won't get a second chance at this." The space around Jupiter lit up like a new sun as the combined energy of Earth's fleet poured into the prototype's quantum field. The Syndicate ships, realizing too late what was happening, tried to retreat, but the quantum field was already taking effect. Reality itself seemed to bend and twist as the temporal barrier formed. The Syndicate vessels, caught in its grip, began to distort, their forms stretching and compressing as time itself worked around them. "It's working," Dr. Flynn exclaimed. "The temporal barrier is stable. They're being pushed out of our time stream." Diana watched in awe as the enemy ships faded from existence, trapped between moments in time. But even as victory seemed within their grasp, she knew this was just the beginning. The future had reached back to warn them for a reason, and now they had to prepare for whatever was coming next. Chief Engineer James Harrison worked frantically at his console aboard the prototype quantum ship, now christened the Stellar Vanguard. The temporal barrier had successfully trapped the Hylia Syndicate vessels, But the quantum drive was reaching critical levels. Warning lights flashed across his display as the ship's systems struggled to contain the massive energy buildup. "The containment field is failing," he shouted over the blaring alarms. "We've got maybe 10 minutes before the quantum core destabilizes completely." Dr. Flynn's fingers flew across her own console, her face illuminated by the ethereal glow of the quantum field. "The artifact's final data packet is decrypting. There's more to this than just stopping the syndicate. The temporal barrier. It's not just a weapon, it's a gateway." Commander Rivera looked up from the tactical station. "A gateway to what?" "To when?" Dr. Flynn corrected. "The future version of humanity that sent us the artifact. They weren't just warning us about the syndicate. They were giving us a chance to prevent the catastrophe that creates them in the first place." Admiral Blackwood's voice crackled through the comm. "Dr. Flynn, explain quickly. That temporal barrier is starting to affect our ships too. The syndicate rises to power because of a cataclysmic event that happens 100 years from now." Flynn explained, her voice urgent. "A quantum rupture that devastates Earth and forces humanity to split into factions. But with this ship, with this technology, we can prevent it from ever happening. The power core won't hold much longer." Harrison warned, watching as the energy readings climbed into the red zone. "Whatever we're going to do, it needs to be now." Commander Rivera studied the tactical display, where the temporal barrier swirled like a cosmic whirlpool. "If we take the ship through, we could find ourselves anywhere in time. We might not make it back." "We'll make it," Flynn insisted. "The artifact's data. It's not just technical specifications. It's a map through time itself." Admiral Blackwood's fleet hung in space around them, their ship's energy signatures flickering as the temporal effects spread. "Commander, if you're going to do this, do it now. We'll hold position here and maintain the barrier as long as we can." Rivera looked at his crew. The brilliant scientist who had unlocked the artifact's secrets, the dedicated engineer who had helped build humanity's greatest achievement, and the rest of the brave souls who had volunteered for what might be a one-way journey. "Plot the course, Dr. Flynn. Mr. Harrison, give us everything the quantum drive has left. We're going to finish this." The stellar vanguard turned toward the heart of the temporal barrier, its quantum field harmonizing with the swirling energies. As they approached, the ship's sensors detected patterns in the chaos, pathways through time itself, just as the artifact had promised. "Course plotted," Flynn announced. "The quantum rupture occurs in the Arcturus system. If we can reach it before it happens, then we prevent the syndicate from ever existing." Rivera finished. "Take us in." The ship plunged into the temporal barrier, reality bending around them as they traveled through dimensions of time and space that human minds were never meant to comprehend. Through the viewports, they witnessed the dance of centuries, stars being born and dying, civilizations rising and falling, all in the blink of an eye. Harrison's hands moved steadily over his controls, keeping the quantum drive stable as they traversed the time stream. "We're approaching the temporal coordinates. Quantum core is holding. Barely." Suddenly, they emerged into normal space. Before them lay the Arcturus system, and in the distance, they could see it, the first flickers of the quantum rupture that would change humanity's fate forever. "Multiple contacts," Harrison reported. "Future ships, the syndicate. They followed us through time. They know what we're trying to do." Rivera's expression hardened with determination. "Then we give them a fight they'll never forget. For Earth, for humanity's future, for all time." The stellar vanguard's quantum weapons came online, their power amplified by the temporal energies they had absorbed. As the syndicate ships approached, Dr. Flynn made a startling discovery. "Commander, the quantum rupture, we can't just prevent it. We need to contain it, redirect it. The artifact's final message, it's not about destruction. It's about transformation." Understanding dawned on Rivera's face. "We're not here to stop the future. We're here to change it." In the battle that followed, the stellar vanguard proved why it was the most advanced ship ever created. Using the quantum technology they had only begun to understand, they didn't just fight the syndicate. They rewrote the laws of physics around them. Working together, Flynn and Harrison found a way to channel the rupture's energy, using the ship's quantum field to create a controlled reaction instead of a catastrophe. The syndicate, realizing their future was being erased, fought desperately to stop them. But in the end, humanity's finest hour came not through destruction, but creation. The quantum rupture, instead of devastating Earth, became the catalyst for a new age of exploration and discovery. The timeline shifted, the future changed, and the syndicate faded from existence, their dark future replaced by one of hope and unity. As the stellar vanguard prepared to return to their own time, they carried with them the knowledge that they had not just saved humanity's future. They had given it wings to soar among the stars. The artifact's final message, now fully decoded, displayed across their screens. The power was always within us. We just needed the courage to reach for the stars and the wisdom to guide our own destiny. And so humanity's greatest adventure began, not with a war, but with a dream of what they could become. The quantum ships that would follow would carry that dream to the farthest reaches of space and time, a testament to the day when humanity took control of its own fate and chose to write a better future among the stars.